Catarina of Braganza. Born on the November 25, 1638, died on the December 31, 1705, was Queen of England, Scotland and Ireland during her marriage to King Charles II, which lasted from May 21, 1662 until his death on February 6, 1685. She was the daughter of John IV of Portugal, who became the first king from the House of Braganza in 1640 after overthrowing the 60-year rule of the Spanish Habsburgs over Portugal and restoring the Portuguese throne, which had first been created in 1143. Catherine served as regent of Portugal during the absence of her brother Peter II in 1701 and during 1704 to 1705, after her return to her homeland as a widow. Owing to her devotion to the Roman Catholic faith in which she had been raised, Catherine was unpopular in England. She was a special object of attack by the inventors of the Popish plot. In 1678, the murder of Edmund Barry Godfrey was ascribed to her servants, and Titus Oates accused her of an intention to poison the king. These charges, the absurdity of which was soon shown by cross-examination, nevertheless placed Catherine for some time in great danger. On November 28, 1678, Oates accused Catherine of high treason, and the English House of Commons passed an order for the removal of her and of all Roman Catholics from the Palace of Whitehall. Several further depositions were made against her, and in June 1679 it was decided that she should stand trial, which threat however was lifted by the king's intervention, for which she later showed him much gratitude. Catherine produced no heirs for Charles, having suffered 3 miscarriages. Her husband kept many mistresses, most notably Barbara Palmer, 1st Duchess of Cleveland, whom Catherine was forced to accept as one of her ladies of the bedchamber. By his mistresses, Charles fathered many children whom he acknowledged. Catherine's marriage had an important result for the later history of India and of the British Empire. Charles II rented the 7 islands of Bombay, part of her dowry, to the East India Company, which moved its presidency there, resulting in Bombay/Mumbai eventually growing to become one of the main cities of India. Catherine is often credited with popularizing tea drinking in Britain, which was uncommon in her time. Beyond tea, her arrival brought in promulgated goods such as cane, lacquer, cottons, and porcelain, and so revolutionized taste, manners, craftsmanship, and history in both England and America. Queens, a borough of New York City, was supposedly named after Catherine of Braganza since she was queen when Queens County was established in 1683. Queens naming is consistent with those of Kings County, the borough of Brooklyn, originally named after her husband, King Charles II, and Richmond County, the borough of Staten Island, named after his illegitimate son, the 1st Duke of Richmond. However, there is no historical evidence that Queens County was named in her honor, neither is there a document from the time proclaiming it so. Some written histories of Queens skip over the monarch entirely and make no mention of her. After the tricentennial of the establishment of Queens County in 1983, the Portuguese American Friends of Queen Catherine Society began raising money to erect a 35-foot statue of Queen Catherine on the East River waterfront in Long Island City. Audrey Flack was hired by the society to serve as the sculptor of the proposed statue, and the project received support from several notable public figures in New York City, including Claire Schulman and Donald Trump. However, the project was well into development when opposition to the statue arose from multiple parties. Historians objected to the statue on the grounds that there was no evidence that Queens was actually named after her, and thought that the location of the proposed statue was misplaced. Meanwhile, the African-American Bethesda Missionary Baptist Church opposed plans for the statue after allegations that Queen Catherine and the House of Braganza had profited from the slave trade emerged. While Irish Americans in Queens were upset that the proposed statue would eclipse the Calvary Cemetery, which had been established for the Irish immigrant community in the United States. As a result of this public opposition, Schulman was forced to withdraw her support, and the statue was never erected. A quarter-scale model survives at the site of Expo 98 in Lisbon, Portugal, facing west across the Atlantic. Catherine Street, formerly Bridges Street, in central London is named after her. Novelists, notably Margaret Campbell Barnes in With All My Heart, Jean Platty in her Charles II trilogy, and Susanna Gregory in her Thomas Challoner mystery novels, usually portray the Queen in a sympathetic light. So did Alison MacLeod in her 1976 biography of the Queen, The Portingale, and Isabel Stillwell in her 2008 historical novel Catherine of Braganza, The Courage of a Portuguese Infanta Who Became Queen of England. Thanks for watching HerStory channel. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe our channel.